We are back here with the AU Fairmont Turbo in the garage, really giving it a bit of a check over. This thing's been on the road now for about 3 months and there haven't been any show-stopping issues with it. But yeah, it is a good idea, I think, to get in here today and just have a look, have a check over everything and make sure it is all still happy.
You're watching MotoringBox, proudly supported by Century Batteries.
Now this car is up on ramps. I've put it way too close to the end of my garage here, so I'm going to have to try and squeeze through. Oh. But let's have a look around all our lines here. So there's no leak from that little water feed adapter for the turbo. And again, everything around the turbo, water and oil wise, looks great. There's a nice bit of color change happening on those titanium nuts. But yeah, this has been a really solid conversion. The intake's really been handling the boost, admittedly not much boost, but it's handling it with no fuss at all. It's running very happily. And I guess it comes back to my tune. I've been pretty sympathetic with it. The coolant level, that's kind of where it was when I filled it, so it's not losing any coolant. We can top that up a smidge. This tank is discoloring a little bit. I think it's just because of the heat. It's just where these lines feed in that it seems to be discoloring right there. It's not discoloring from what I can see on the underside, or maybe it is a smidge. If we really were keen, we could fabricate some kind of a heat shield just under, this bottom edge of the tank. That would be pretty easy to do. These tanks themselves are only about $50, so we'll see how it goes. If it is an issue, then I'll buy a new one, and at that time we'll fabricate something up. See if we can do something about that, because that is very unsightly. When you look at this, you kind of just go, ugh, what's that? Battery's still nice and healthy. This car's been getting a lot of kilometers on the road, driving to and from work. One thing I have noticed, I'm not going to pull it off, but my VCT little actuator thingy here is leaking oil, and it's actually leaking it through the connector right on the end here where this plugs in. It's leaking through the connector. Very, very slow weep, but I was a little bit depressed about it because it's like you can't find these solenoid things anywhere, these VCT solenoids. But it turns out, I'll put it on screen, it's actually a Nissan part. I think it's from the Nissan SR engines. It's like a little VCT solenoid. Same part, and it looks identical in the pictures. So if anyone's got a VCT intake and you need a new one of these, it's like $350 or something. But it is good to know that you can still get them. It's just not a Ford part, as you would expect. Yeah, I suppose we should probably jump under the car and have a look. Just make sure everything down there is looking happy as well. Now, I am going to have to confess we do have a little bit of an oil weep on the intake, and I think it is actually from the front main seal, which I have changed, but it may still be leaking. You can't really see up there very well. Look, it's a very small, slow leak, so I'm not too stressed about it, but it does mean that it travels down the bottom of the sump and then kind of drips off right here. So there is, I suppose I did tell a bit of a lie before, there is a bit of a leak. But look, it's not huge. There is a bit of a discoloration there on the bottom of that filter, but there's no leak there that I can see. Look, it's not the cleanest car under here, but look, it's functional. Oh, we do have an oil leak over here. Let's have a look. Okay, there is something going on here. So we've got a little bit on our oil drain, and it looks like something from up there too. But it's just a matter of where is it coming from. It actually looks like it's coming from the power steering line. That might actually be power steering fluid. You're not going to be able to see very easily, but that power steering line, the black one there, looks like it's leaking. We may have to try and swivel it away a bit, but it may have already been cooked, if it's leaking as much as it is now, which is just a little bit. Yeah, we're probably going to be up for a new line. But look, that's a shame, but everything else under here looks okay. It's just that fluid. So that power steering line, here it is here, coming out of the top. It is possibly, could be leaking from right there. It's dry there at the top. So yeah, it must be from where the metal part of the line joins onto the rubber part. It's probably lost its seal there. All right, it's pretty apparent I'm going to need a new high pressure line for the power steering. I don't know how quickly this is leaking. It looks like a recent thing. This fluid level still looks really high. It's like right on the mark still. So yeah, I'm just going ahead and buttoning this up again. There's not a lot we can do about it at the moment. I'm gonna need to buy a brand new high pressure line for the power steering. I probably will just get the same factory line with that same connector on it. But when the new one turns up, just try and straighten it out again by bending it. And when I do install it, maybe work out some heat shielding and just try and get it away from the headers, the exhaust manifold as far as I can. But yeah, there's a lot of love out here for this car, and it's been amazing to read all your comments. A lot of people came up to me at the recent All 4 Day here in Queensland and had a chat as well. There's a lot of fans, a lot of people who love these AU Falcons, and they're in that Goldilocks zone, I think, where they're old, but they're not too old. And the parts availability is still pretty good. So yeah, I would recommend an AU Falcon to anyone. They're so cheap that you can get pretty good examples for just a couple of grand. And yeah, to me, arguably, best Falcon going, I reckon. When you weigh everything into account, some of the others win on looks, but everything else, it's got to be the AU. So about a week has passed, and get a load of this. I've actually ordered a brand new power steering line, a high pressure line, and I also got some sort of fiberglass based, what do you call it? It's like a heat wrap. It comes in like a 25mm diameter tube, and then I just fed it onto the line and used some hose clamps here on the ends to hold it and cut it neatly. So this should be better than nothing. I know this stuff probably needs to have an air gap behind it, like it's probably designed to cover wiring and stuff. It's just kind of sitting directly on the power steering hose here at the moment. But again, it should be better than nothing. This combined with the fact that we're going to try and get this away from the exhaust manifold a little bit, hopefully together, should mean that we won't have any leaks or any problems down the track. So yeah, let's get that old line out and get this one in. We're just going to try and crack this power steering line, and access is horrendous. There we go. So I do have my Mitsubishi Magna drip tray. These are conveniently provided in a TJ Magna under the passenger seat. Extremely useful as it turns out. All right, I'm going to gently put this tray down and get out of here. So yeah, it's just going to drip down off here into here. Yay, we got it. Yep, pretty good. So we'll have to try and nip this thing up as best we can before the new line goes in. I'll have to try pull that through from the bottom. All right, we got it. Now, is the old line the same? Yes. Now this fitting here is a bit longer in the thread compared to the old one, so it is going to stick out a little bit, but it shouldn't be a problem. It's just a visual thing. The line came with new O-rings, so there's an O-ring top and bottom. Yeah, it's already starting to snug up here. I won't tighten it too much because we need to check for leaks just to make sure there is no problem. But yeah, that's feeling like that one's done up. There is a little bit of touching here on this water line to the turbo. I'll have a look at that. The hose clamp that's holding on the heat wrap on this power steering line is touching Like the actual metal of the clamp is touching this line, so maybe it'll be all right, but I'll come back and have a look at that. Do it up under the car and top this up. So we'll go for a fluid top up and we'll check for leaks. Have I mentioned how much fun I'm having today doing this? Amazing. For the fluid today, we've got the Penrite HPSO. I've been running this before. That's what got drained out of it. And it's what's going back in. Never had any issues with it. Pump's always been quiet. Now it looks like we are approaching the mark. There's probably going to be a lot of air bubbles which will have to come out, so just top it up a bit more and then we'll have to leave it for a while. There is a bleed procedure, but I might just let it sit first. Crucially, can't see any leaks yet. I might just start the engine, see if we can get the fluid moving a little bit. Okay, there's a little bit low. Pop a bit in. It is slowly going down. So while I'm waiting for that, let's put some of this intake back together. Now I'm pretty thankful that this is the only real issue this car has had since being turbo converted. So, you know, it's been really successful. Hopefully this will solve the problem once and for all. Like, I know it's not a perfect solution, but hopefully that, it's like a fiberglass heat wrap, kind of a sleeve thingy. Hopefully that, in combination with the line being twisted out of the way of the manifold a little bit further, hopefully that'll solve our problem once and for all. And literally this car has been driven almost every day. I drive it to work almost exclusively these days, just because it's so much fun. Turbocharging this Fairmont has just brought back a lot of the excitement driving this car. It feels really special now. It sounds amazing. Yeah, it went from being probably one of the most boring, predictable cars in my fleet to now the one that I want to take every single time. That brings me to another point, the Magna Rally Art. I haven't been driving it. It's just been sitting in the driveway. So I'm actually thinking of selling it. If anyone's interested and you've watched the video this far, I'll give you the exclusive offer, 12 grand. If you want it, come and get it. It needs a little bit of work. It needs a new power steering pump, which I've actually got. If I haven't sold it quickly enough, I'll fit that myself. We'll do a video about it. And it does probably need some suspension bushings as well. It's not a perfect car. It's pretty good, but with those few little fixes, it'll be perfect. So if you're interested, hit me up, Sean@motoringbox.com. I will be advertising it more widely after a little while, but this is just a heads up for you keen viewers who have stuck around this long and you're interested, hit me up. It is sad, I would hate to get rid of it, but when you run a YouTube channel, content is king, and really the content on that car is drying up. I would love to look at some other cars too. This one has to stay where it is. I still have the BA Turbo sitting under a car cover. That'll come back at some point as well, but it would be nice to look at something else. And to do that, unfortunately, the Magna's got to go. I apologise to some of you, that's probably news you don't want to hear, but nothing ever stays the same, does it? With anything, life is always changing. Right, so the wheels are in the air. I just jack it from the back of the K-frame with a bit of wood. No jack stands, but I'm not going under there. So we'll start the car up, turn the wheels left and right, and see if we can bleed it. All right, it's looking good. I think the reason that was so easy to bleed is that we didn't actually drain the rack of fluid. We just sort of drained the lines and the pump. We will have to monitor this, of course, and just make sure there's no leaks and that it's happy. But yeah, the hose, it does have the heat shielding wrap on there now, and it is further from the manifold, so I'm feeling pretty good about that. It does appear to be bled correctly, so yeah, let's take her out for a spin. All right, so we are out in the Turbo AU Fairmont, and our little power steering leak is fixed. Brand new line with that heat wrapping on it. I have full faith in that lasting for the foreseeable future. Just because, look, it is a brand new line, it's not 24 years old. Yeah, the fuel fluid has not dropped at all, so problem solved. Let's do a bit of a mid-throttle pull here. Half throttle, and it just motors along. It just sounds so smooth, and yeah, the torque that this thing throws out is intoxicating. I hope to dyno tune this thing next month, September 2025. On 6 pounds of boost, it'll probably be, around a stock XR6 turbo, which is like 200 kilowatts at the wheels. If it can hit that, I'll be pretty happy with it. And at the moment, we've got a 6 pound boost target. I have an option for 12. It's not really tuned for it. But even at 6, to me, I know it sounds a bit wussy, but it's enough. I never have to full throttle this thing. I don't need that amount of power when I'm daily driving it. Sure, at the drag strip, it'll be a different story, but just on the street, 6 is plenty. And that's kind of where Ford dialed in their turbo cars. I don't know how many pounds of boost the FG turbos ran, but for BABF, it was around 5 or 6 pounds. That's what we're doing here. Slightly high compression. I know we've got less valves per cylinder compared to the Barra. Only 1 cam versus 2. So we're going to be down on power in some regards, but it just makes the car feel effortless. Yeah, at sort of 40% half throttle like we just did then, it just flies. I think I worked it out that at about 40 to 50% throttle, half throttle, it's faster than a stock AU is. I've gone up against a stock AU that was loud as hell. It had the loudest exhaust you've ever heard in your life. I don't know what other mods, but this thing was quicker than it. Easy, half throttle. So that already tells you half throttle, we're probably like 130, 140 kilowatts at the wheels. Full throttle, it's got to be around 200 surely. So I'm going to leave it here. Thank you very much for watching. The AU Turbo lives on. No major problems yet. Well, there is one I didn't tell you about, but that's been fixed a long time ago. It was my own silly fault. But yeah, at the moment, driving awesomely. So thank you very much for watching the video. Subscribe, like it, comment below, and I'll see you next time.